Good morning, student. Today we'll start with the part 2 of unit 2, where we are going to focus on frequency domain filtering. So now we know that our image exists in a spatial domain. Okay, so we need a tool to transform our image from spatial domain to the frequency domain. Okay, so what is this image transform? It is a mathematical tool which allows us to move from one domain to another domain. Okay, so more specifically, so we'll move from spatial domain to the frequency domain. Okay, and if you consider some other signal, a normal signal, so you will transform from time domain to the frequency domain. Okay, so remember this image transform is a mathematical tool which allows us to move from one domain to the another domain. Now, why we do image transformation? First reason is the mathematical convenience. So remember, convolution in time domain is equivalent to the multiplication in frequency domain. Okay, so we are going to see this concept later on. Okay, but time being, you remember convolution in time domain is equivalent to the multiplication in frequency domain. Okay, so we know that the convolution process. So what is convolution? So in convolution we have our image and we have a mask. Okay, and what we do, we apply some operation on every pixel in our given image. Okay, so what we do, we place this mask on every pixel. Okay, so we'll start with the first pixel. Okay, so it will be placed like this. Okay, and what we do in convolution, we do the sum of product. Okay, and now these pixels these pixels of mask are falling outside of the image. For that we do the padding. Okay, so we have seen different techniques like replicate, zero padding. Okay, so we do the padding. Okay, and we convolve these marks over all the pixels in our given image. Okay, so how many multiplications are there, you calculate that. Okay, so when for one pixel there will be 9 multiplication. Okay, and for example, if the image is 100 by 100, okay, so 100 by 100 pixels are there. Okay, multiply by 9, that many multiplications are there in convolution in spatial domain. Okay, but in frequency domain it will be a multiplication only, a single multiplication. So the mask size will be also 100 by 100. Okay, there will be only 100 multiplied by 100 multiplications will be there. Okay, so we have reduced 90% of the multiplications. Okay, so we use this transform for mathematical convenience. Another example is to extract more information. Okay, so one example is given here. So if we pass a white light through a prism, we get a spectrum. Means we will get individual component of the white light. Okay, so we'll get violet rays, then VIBGYOR, right? So the white light is compressed of VIBGYOR. Okay, so we get individual ray from this light. Okay, now we can process a individual component of this ray. Similar to that, so when we pass a signal which is in time domain through a transformation, we get a spectrum. Okay, now in our case, so if you consider any image, a constant background will be a low frequency component. Okay, and edges and noise will be a high frequency components. Okay, so when we pass a image through a transformation, we will get this component separately, and now we can work on that components like edges or noise separately, and we can remove that noise. Okay, so that is not possible in spatial domain because noise is spreaded in the image, right? So when you pass image through a transformation, you will get such components separately and you can work on those components. Okay, so that is the use of transformation. And it is worth to note that transforms do not change the information content present in the signal. Okay, so if you apply a inverse transform, you will get the original signal back. Please note, this transform do not change the information content present in an image. So to summarize, Why to use this transformation? Transformation may isolate critical components of an image pattern so that they are directly accessible for analysis. So the noise present in an image will be directly accessible. Okay, then we can apply a filtering technique to filter those noise out. Transformation may place the image data in more compact form so that they can be stored and transmitted efficiently. Many transformation techniques are used for the compression task also. Okay, so that is the use of transformation. These are different categories of image transform, and mainly we are interested in Fourier transform. And now we'll see some of the basic concept. So we know that our image is a 2D signal, okay, and we have a discrete values for individual pixel. Okay, so our image is 2D discrete signal. And what is signal? It is a function of one or more variables, right? And these signals carry information. For example, if you consider 1D signal, for example like ECG signal or a sound signal, that carries some information, right? In 2D we have our image. Okay, we need some knowledge of complex numbers. Okay, so we will revise those concepts. A complex number C is defined as C equals to R plus Ji. Now this R is a real part of that number and I represents imaginary part of that number. The value of J is square root of -1. Okay, the conjugate of C is represented by C star, and it will be here we will have opposite symbol, opposite sign for the imaginary part. Okay, so conjugate of C will be C star equals to R minus Ji. In polar coordinates we can represent this C as the magnitude of C multiplied by cos theta plus J sin theta, where this magnitude is represent the value of magnitude is square root of R square plus I square. Using the Euler's formula, we know that e raised to power j theta equals to cos theta plus j sin theta. So if you replace the value of this cos theta and j sin theta here, so our complex number C becomes magnitude of C into e raised to power j theta. So remember this formula. Okay, so in Fourier transform we are going to have e raised to power something. Okay, that means our Fourier transform value will be a complex number. Okay, so remember that. And phase angle, this theta is known as a phase angle, and which is equals to tan inverse of imaginary part divided by real part. Okay, so remember these formulas. Remember what is conjugate. Okay, then what is magnitude and what is phase angle. Now applications of image transforms are, we are going to use this transformation techniques during the pre-processing of image. Okay, like filtering and enhancement. Okay, so in under enhancement we have seen smoothing operation and sharpening operation. So we are going to study same operations in frequency domain also. These are used in data compression techniques. These are also used for feature extraction like edge detection and corner detection. So in unit 4 we are going to study this edge detection and corner detection. Now we will see what is frequency. So it represents a change in rate of something. So when the rate of change is very high, then we say it is the frequency is very high. Okay, so when we have a rapid change in the variable, that represents high frequency, and smooth change in the variable, that represents low frequency. And if there is no change in the variable, then that represents a zero frequency. And generally we measure frequency in cycles per seconds, or the unit of frequency is hertz. This Fourier transform is proposed by this scientist whose name was Jean-Baptiste Joseph Fourier. He was a French scientist. And what happens when we pass a signal through a Fourier transform? We get the frequency amplitude representation of that signal. Okay, so earlier it will be time signal in a time domain. Then after that, after passing through a Fourier transform, we will get a frequency amplitude representation of a signal. So what is the basic idea behind this Fourier series and Fourier transform? So the Fourier says any periodic function can be expressed as the sum of sines and or cosines of different frequency, each multiplied with different coefficient. Okay, let me show you one graph. Now this is one signal. Okay, so according to Fourier, this signal can be represented as a sum of different sines and cosine signals of different frequency. Okay, so this we can represent this signal as a sum of these signals which are having different frequencies. So that is the main idea behind the Fourier series. So it says that any periodic function can be expressed as the sum of sines and or cosines of different frequencies, each multiplied by with different coefficients. So similar to that, in Fourier transform, what we have here we have the function. Even if it is not a periodic, it can be expressed as the integral of sines and or cosines multiplied by a weighing coefficient. One more point to remember regarding Fourier transform is perfectly reversible transform. So when we pass a raw signal through a Fourier transform, we will get a process signal, and if we apply an inverse Fourier transform on this process signal, we get the original raw signal back, and there will be no data loss during this process. So Fourier transform is a reversible transform. Now let us see a Fourier transform on 1D continuous signal. Okay, now we have a discrete Fourier transform and continuous Fourier transform. So first we will see Fourier transform of 1D continuous signal. Now this f of x is our continuous 1D continuous function. This Fourier transform of f of x is represented by capital F of u. Okay, and the equation is given by, it is the integration from minus infinity to infinity f of x into e raised to power minus j 2 pi ux dx, where this u is our frequency variable. And if you remember the Euler's formula, this e raised to power j theta represents cos theta plus j sin theta. So this f of u will be a complex function. Okay, so Fourier transform decomposes a signal to a complex exponential functions of different frequencies. Now we can get the original function if we apply our inverse Fourier transform on f of u. Okay, so equation is f of x equals to integration from minus infinity to plus infinity f of u. Okay, just you have to change the sign of this exponent. Okay, so here we have e raised to power j 2 pi ux dx du. Okay, so this is integration with respect to u. So now if we extend that formula for the 2D signal, okay, again here we have f of xy, which is a continuous signal. Okay, so the Fourier transform equation is again integration will be from minus infinity to plus infinity f of xy e raised to power minus j 2 pi, so ux plus vy dx dy. Okay, so remember this equation. This equation is known as a forward transformation. Now the inverse Fourier transform of f of uv, the equation is f of xy equals to integration from minus infinity to plus infinity f of uv e raised to power j 2 pi ux plus vy du into dv. Okay, just there is a change of this sign of the exponent. Okay, now we are interested in the discrete equations of Fourier transforms. So the equation the 1D ft of f of x is given here. So it is capital F u equals to 1 by m summation from 0 to m minus 1 f of x into e raised to power minus j 2 pi ux divided by m. Here this u is a frequency variable and it will vary from u to 0 to m minus 1. Okay, the inverse Fourier transform equation is f of x equals to summation from 0 to m minus 1 f of u into same term, just you change the sign of the exponent, so e raised to power j 2 pi ux divided by m. Okay, so again x, where x is varying from 0 to m minus 1. Now we will see the Fourier transform equation for 2D discrete function. So it is represented by f of uv equals to m by mn summation from 0 to m minus 1, then internal summation from 0 to n minus 1. Okay, now here x is varying from 0 to m minus 1 and y is varying from 0 to n minus 1. So here we are considering the size of our image is m by n. Okay. Okay, so summation of f of xy e raised to power minus j 2 pi ux divided by m plus vy divided by n. Okay, where u will also vary from 0 to m minus 1 and v will vary from 0 to n minus 1. Now inverse equation is so just remember, here we have 1 divided by mn. Okay, here we don't have anything. Okay, then it will be a summation from 0 to m minus 1, v from 0 to n minus 1, f of uv e raised to power j 2 pi ux divided by m plus vy divided by n. Okay, where x varies from 0 to m minus 1 and y varies from 0 to n minus 1. So this u and v are known as a frequency variable, and x and y are our spatial variables or image variables. Okay, so we have seen phase angle of equation for phase angle for a complex number. So similarly, for Fourier transform equation also we have a phase angle formula. So which is tan inverse of imaginary part divided by the real part of the equation f of uv, and this spectrum is actually a magnitude, okay, which is represented by a square root of square of a real part plus square of the imaginary part. Okay, and we have one extra variable here which is known as a power spectrum, which is nothing but a square of the magnitude of the complex entity. Okay, so it will be r square uv plus I square uv. Okay, in the next class we are going to study different properties of 2D DFT. Okay, so we are going to study these 10 properties. So today we have seen a number of equations related to Fourier transform. First we have seen Fourier transform for 1D continuous function, then we have seen an inverse equation of that, then we have seen Fourier transform equation for a 2D signal, then the inverse Fourier transform for that f of uv, then we have seen a Fourier transform equation for 1D discrete signal. Okay, then inverse Fourier equation for that. Then we are actually interested in this equation which is related to Fourier transform of 2D signal. Okay, and that signal is discrete one. This Fourier transform has countless application. Okay, but we are going to focus on fundamentals of Fourier transform and its relevance to the digital image processing. Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you.